Gen Z, there's a very high likelihood this video is going to piss you off.
I'm so upset.
Trigger you. You may have your microaggression type of a moment. But for those of you that are higher Gen Zs, you're going to say, I agree with some of this stuff. But this is purely for some of you that are between 12 to 27 years old, born between 97 and 2012, that you want to find a way to have a fighting chance in the future. Watch this video in its entirety. Watch this. New statistics. Do you know what percent of Gen Z workers claim they experience burnout at work?
I get scheduled for 25 hours a week. I'm literally about to quit.
Not 20%, not 40%, not 80%, not 90%. 98% of you experience burnout.
Every single day, go and work somewhere and do that 5 times a week?
How? You're in your early 20s. Watch this. 23% face unmanageable stress and 48% feel drained. According to a Cigna survey, Gen Z is the most stressed generation of all time. And by the way, according to 1,000 leaders that are hiring people out there, watch what they said. This is employers talking about Gen Zers. 6 in 10 employers reporting firing recent Gen Z college graduates within months of hiring them. 1 in 7 employers indicated they may refrain from hiring new graduates next year's unsatisfactory performance. 75% of companies said some or all of their Gen Z hires were unsatisfactory. 50% reported that Gen Z workers showed a lack of motivation, and 39% of Gen Zs lacked communication skills. 46% noted a lack of professionalism. This is a problem. If you want the future to look bright, you have a very easy chance here. 98% are burned out. You got to find a way to be here, and we're going to talk about that today. If you value out of this video and you can hang in there, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let me give you a couple things here. I remember being 23 years old. I'm running an insurance company. I got out of the Army, and one of my friends and I were running and gunning. I'm broke. I'm making maybe $2,000 a month. I have nothing. I'm in debt $49,000. Just went through an ugly breakup. Nothing's going my way, but I'm working 100 hours a week. And one day, one of the guys I was working with, he was a phenomenal salesperson, charming, charismatic, spoke multiple languages. Clients loved him. But one day we go to have lunch at his house, and his mother's there cooking for us. And she starts asking me a question. She says, as hard as you're working, Patrick, aren't you worried about having a heart attack? I said, I'm sorry, aren't you worried about having a heart attack? I said, I'm 24, 25 years old. What a heart attack? She says, I think you guys are working too hard. I'm worried about my baby boy having a heart attack the way you guys are working. Why do you work so hard? And I'm like, can I respectfully ask you a question? Yes. Do you think there's benefits of you putting this fear of a future heart attack in your 24, 25-year-old son? Yeah, because it's what happens. All the people that work so hard have heart attack. The guy whom I love, who is super talented, super capable, he was so much fun to be around from a young age, thought he was going to die from a heart attack from working too hard. You know what happened eventually to him? He quits. If he stayed with me, he'd be making $2-3 million a year income right now. But he convinced himself that life was about avoiding suffering because he read this book, this philosophy book that I was reading that he picked up. First sentence says, the key to life is to avoid suffering. And that's what caused him to not want to go through the hard times. When you think about stress, there's 4 different types of stress. Gen Zers. This applies to everybody else, but I'm going to specifically talk to Gen Zers. Let me break down the 4 different types of stress. There's one that's real stress. You know what real stress is? The generation that went through the Great Depression. That's real stress. Let's take this bread in 4, mom, dad, son, daughter. Enjoy. That's all we got. We ain't got no heater. It's freezing. That's stress. Stress is you're in war. You're getting shot at. Stress is you're living in an environment. Mom and dad died at a young age. All that's stress. And there's a lot of stress. Stress is you were fully healthy, you and your wife, you guys have a kid, you decide to name your son Nick. Your last name is Vujicic. Your son is named Nick Vujicic. He's born without limbs, no arms, no legs. He writes a book and you go speak around the world. Your son is born without limbs. No one in your family is ever born this way. But somehow, some way, 1 in a million in case something like this happens, you have to raise this kid. First time I met him in Woodland Hills, California, some 17 years ago. I said, how was your father with you? He said, never felt sorry for me. Made me find a way. He has no arms, no legs. Find a way to brush my own teeth. I had to learn how to swim. They did a doc. He's got billions of views online. He said, my father never ever felt so. I said, has your dad ever written a book? His father wrote a book on parenting. That is stressful. And the father still didn't feel bad. There is real stress. Then there is imaginary stress, which is what? Oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? You're causing it. But it's imaginary stress, right? That's anxiety, panic, and all the stuff that you're going through. Then the other kind of stress is exaggerated stress. You are going through something, but it's a 3. You make it a 9. You are going through an issue. It is bad. I mean, you went through a breakup. It's bad. It's painful. It hurts. But it ain't the end of the world. It's a breakup. She broke your heart. He broke your heart. We all go through it. Trust me. You had a job. Somebody got a promotion over you. It happens. It ain't a 9. It's a 4. It's a 3.5 at best. But it's exaggerated. Oh my God, let me tell you, go make a video. So horrible end of the world. That's exaggerated, right? You're making it bigger. And last but not least, the kind of stress is influence. This is the one why I told you the story about the kid with a heart attack. The mother who loves his child, she was so sweet. She was amazing. She was a great cook. She didn't know she was doing this. Her parents probably did it to her. She influenced her son to be afraid of a heart attack at 23, 24 years old. News today can influence you to have anxiety and stress and be burned out. TikTok can do that. Social media can do that. Your parents can do that. Your teachers can do that. Co-workers can do that. That's the influence part. So when you're going through whatever you're talking about, that life is so incredibly challenging, how much of it is real stress? And by the way, some of you that are watching is like, you don't know kind of a life I'm living in, how hard it is. If you're going through asking and starting a statement like that, you're trying to sell yourself and other people on how hard life is, you're already out of this conversation. Stop the video, go watch a video with the sound of waves coming in, right? Go listen to some white noise or a cat playing with each other and saying how much they love each other, because I'm not your cup of tea. I'm talking to the people that do not want to join this 98% community that's going to destroy their lives. Now, let me give you a couple things that you're going to be like, okay, at least he agrees with us on a part of it. I have 4 kids. My oldest is a Gen Z. He's 12. He's the last one, born in 2012. Guess what happened with them? That I will give you some credibility, but don't run with it. Here's what it is. When COVID took place and there was shutdowns, my son wasn't going to school in Texas. I brought my kids in. After 3-4 months, I'm noticing this kid is getting a little bit depressed because he's got to be around people. We found certain things that we had to do. So I understand that's maybe your crisis. Maybe your crisis is you're growing up with social media. Maybe your crisis is a lot of anxiety and things being fed to you. But no matter how bad it is, I guarantee you, 90% of it is exaggerated because you have this weapon that it's causing you to exaggerate every issue. Great Depression, they didn't have this weapon. This weapon is creating all that anxiety for you. So if you're still in the camp that wants to find a way to improve yourself, I know you have the college debt, I know there's inflation, but no matter what, each phase, each decade has a different crisis. This is the one you've been dealt with. What do you want to do with it? If you're an employer watching this, you're like, oh my God, this is describing some of the people that have been hired. What do? I'm in a certain state that I can't fire them, HR, all this other stuff. This is why we build an app called Minnect, so you can ask people on Minnect who are HR specialists. If you're watching this, you're a business owner, you're a sales leader, you're an executive, and you're going through this right now, you got questions, download the app Minnect. You can Minnect me, and I'll recommend you to other HR specialists, or you can go directly to HR on Minnect and ask different executives and leaders on what you should do. But definitely don't go doing the same thing you're doing without seeking counsel from somebody. That's why we have Minnect for you to take advantage of. Most important data I want to give you here today. You know what it is? U.S. full-time workforce by generation. Gen Z. You've officially passed baby boomers. There's officially more Gen Z workers in America than baby boomers because baby boomers are going like this, Gen Z is going like this. However, everything I just went through these notes, okay? You know what it tells me? I don't agree with it. To work with Gen Zers, they're stressed out because their number one goal in life is to be an influencer. My goal was to be a baseball player. You know what happened? I didn't make it. I failed. That's what it was. It's the end of it. You think every one of you is going to be an influencer? No, it's not easy being an influencer. Very, very hard. But it's so stressful. Look what it says in this article. This article wants me to understand you and believe how challenging it is, the stresses that these Gen Zers go through because they want to be such an influencer, and God forbid they don't make it because 57% of you aspire to be a social media influencer based on a 2023 survey of 1,000 individuals generation. So challenges of being an influencer, constant work overload. Don't do it. Long hours. Don't do it. Burnout. Creators like Lashers experience burnout due to the constant demand for content and inability to disconnect from their phones on social media. Don't do it. Who told you to do it? No one told you to be an influencer. You're choosing to be an influencer. Caroline Lasher, a full-time lifestyle creator, works from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., handling all tasks like photography, videography, and editing herself. She also feels pressure to post daily to avoid risk of losing engagement. Don't do it. Go get a real job. And then don't be an influencer. It's too much stress for you. It ain't for you. Don't do it if you don't want to go through this. Reflections from established influencers, loss of passion. Don't do it. Transition from other ventures, quotes from some of the people from the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed. The internet's on, so you're on as well. You know, it's so hard to walk away from because it's on your phone and everyone's on their cell phones. It's hard to walk away from cocaine. It's hard to walk away from ecstasy. It's hard to walk away from alcohol. It's called you're addicted. You are addicted to this. This is your cocaine. That was cocaine in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. This is what this is for you. You sound like a drug addict just reading these quotes. Do something you enjoy doing, even if no one's watching. Great. Then if you're enjoying it, then stop bitching about how long it takes, because that's how it works. I'm driving the other day with my kids from a soccer tournament. I said, in life, there's 3 different types of people: the interested, the committed, the obsessed, okay? The obsessed are automatically committed and interested. The committed are only interested. The interested are just interested. If you're just interested in being an influencer, don't do it. Yeah, my son is interested in baseball. He's not committed to baseball. He's obsessed with soccer. Guess what? I can't get a soccer ball out of his hand. For some of the people that are like, I want to be an influencer, but you're like complaining about how hard it is, of course it's going to be hard. Then don't do it. Guy on Minnect asked me a question today. Hey, Pat, I noticed you interviewed Kobe Bryant. You interviewed, Tom Brady and all this stuff about wanting to be one of one, the greatest of all time, and The Rock and all, how is it though? Are you willing to make the sacrifice? Is it worth it? I said, let me tell you what I've learned in life. If somebody's talking about is the sacrifice worth it, you ain't gonna sacrifice, because the obsessed never talks about sacrifice. It's a given, because they're obsessed with what they want to do in their life. It doesn't sound like these folks are obsessed with being influencers. They're just interested. Big difference, sweetheart. Choose a different career path. And then it goes in here. Look at the audacity. You have to find a way on how to make it work for them. Flex your digital muscles. And then later on in this arc, 15 ways to be able to attract and manage Gen Z workers. Encourage innovation and work-life balance. I won't. Lead by example. We do. Understand their needs. No, you're going to adjust to what the company needs, not the other way around. You don't want to work at a company. You're going to sit there and say, there's no way in the world I want to work for Elon Musk. Yes, it's hard. Elon's a leader. Provide growth opportunities. They're everywhere. Leverage Gen Z desire to change. If you want to, we'll hire you. Focus on the individual. Many companies do. Be open to learning from them. In what way? From what experience? From what background? Based on what moral authority or credibility that you have? If you do, we love you. And we have plenty of people in their 20s. I learn from our guys here that are in their 20s all the time. But they're not sitting here complaining about all this stuff all the time. Walk the culture talk. Lead with humanity. What lead with humanity? As if we don't. If you don't lead with humanity, you ain't going to make it in business, because you're not going to retain people, right? Invest in them early. Why? Why would they invest in you early if we don't know you're locked in or not? Foster a supportive environment. Understand work as a part of life. Have check-ins and clear expectations. Sure, be flexible in the management style. You have to adjust to different personality. Promote a more open communication. This is the last thing I will tell you. I don't say this to piss you off as if you don't have value to provide. My own 10-year-old son teaches me things. My 12-year-old son teaches me things. My 3-year-old teaches me things. Here's the difference. If you want to get respect when you go into an environment, you ain't going to get it day one. I saw a video the other day. These 2 people are talking, and one of the guys is saying, well, I won't be able to come in today because I have a workout session at 8 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, what is this all about? This video goes viral. The employee reacts to those 2 people who made the video saying, am I going to get this? Am I going to get that? Am I going to get off at 4? Am I going to get this? And by the way, I'm sending this video that you made with your friend to HR. The 2 people that made the video that never mentioned the name had to go back and apologize to the Gen Zer that bitched about the fact that this is the society we're living in. By the way, that person interviewed here, we would never hire that person. There's 2 ways people want to get respect. Some think they're entitled to it. For what reason? No, I'm entitled. You better give it to me or else. The world doesn't work that way. The other one is you earn. When you earn it, you know what happens? Everybody wants you. You will always be in demand. You know what happens with entitled people? Nobody wants you. No one. Because you're entitled without earning it. If you want to protect your future, that you don't have to go to sleep stressed out about anything, subscribe to earning the right to gain respect. You will always be needed for any organization that you work for. So, Gen Zers, or anybody else, if you really got value out of this video, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I got a video I want you to watch if you enjoyed this video. It's called Rules for Mental Toughness. I shot this video a long time ago. It's got a few million views, I think 1.5 million views. If you've never seen it, click here to watch it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.